Hello, babes and besties. I am literally just sitting in a parking lot. I'm gonna go to Applebee's soon with one of my friends. So I'm waiting for them to get here, but I figured while I'm waiting here, my camera was sitting in the back seat, so let's yap a little. I want to talk about empathy, but with boundaries. I have spent a good majority of my life being a people pleaser. I think it had a lot to do with the way I was raised. In my childhood, I felt like I sort of had to go about navigating the world in a way where, like, I had to make sure everyone around me was okay to sort of prevent explosions of, like, emotions happening. And therefore, I learned to sort of give up like what I genuinely would really like to do or how I genuinely felt and sort of do what I thought was going to be best for the person or the situation I was in. And I've been spending a lot of time in my adult life trying to not necessarily unlearn that habit because, like, I do think obviously there are situations that you can be in where you do want to sort of, you know, work to make things better. Like sometimes it calls for that in relationships, and not like the whole, what I've learned is not the relationship as a whole, but like moments in the relationship. Like you do have to make those compromises. And that's where I feel like boundaries come in. And boundaries have been a very hard thing for me to, one, place, and two, like learn that it's okay to do. When you grow up thinking that you sort of have to now, like that, holds please, let me take, but you know what? I need a minute. I just got off work too, and I did not drink nearly enough water today as I should have. But when you grow up and you have taught yourself that the way to navigate connections and relationships with people is to do what they want to do, it can feel so scary making a choice. Like sometimes I have to sit and think to myself, like when someone asks me, hey, like, I don't care, they literally will be like, I don't care what we do. What do you want to do? Here's some options. And I'll be like, I don't care, whatever you want to do. But it's okay to make that choice. It's okay to say, hey, like, I actually am not really feeling like going to eat at this place. I would prefer to go here. And the world won't burn down, I promise. But it can definitely feel like it might. It's like so scary sometimes. And it's still like, it's just like terrifying for me to do still. It gets easier, like, and I will say, I feel like little situations like that where someone gives you an option, like you're with your friend and they're like, oh, do you want to go here or here? Speak your truth. Where do you really want to go? Because, well, I guess also, see, empathy, because I'm like, what if the other person really doesn't want to go to the place that you're picking? They should also be speaking up. You should have a relationship with someone where they can feel comfortable doing that as well. Human connection is it's such an like an intimate and intricate thing. And I feel like that's why I love it, is because every single connection you have with someone is different. And every single connection you have with someone can like be like, you could have a connection that's like really, 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 really good with someone, and like you guys are both like growing and changing and evolving as a person, and like maybe you would just grow in different ways and you have to end that connection, you know? Or on the opposite end of that spectrum, you can meet someone and boom, they're in your life forever. Like the connection just feels instant and you feel like you've known them a million bajillion years. I just think that's so cool. But back to my topic. People who are empathetic, like, you have a big soft heart. You feel all of those emotions, and it is so easy for me, as like, and maybe this isn't for everyone, but like speaking in my own perspective, is like, it is so easy for me to like be talking with someone and hear them, like what they're having, like what they're telling me, and I'm like, dang, like I feel for them so badly. And I'll be like trying to have a conversation where I'm trying to place some boundaries, and I have to remind myself that it's still okay for me to place those boundaries, even if I'm feeling those feelings, even if they're telling me these stories and I'm understanding like where they're coming from. I'm like, yeah, no, like I totally get that. I totally understand why they would act that way, like based off of what they're telling me. But like still, you deserve to be respected. You deserve like the love and care and affection you're asking for within means, like very much so. And it was and still is very hard for me to learn and realize that. But I've also realized throughout my life, the more that I validate that experience for myself and I place those boundaries and I uphold them with my relationships, the more relationships I'm having and finding with people who are instilling that in me. Like, I have friends who will push me now, you know, to like place a boundary and like uphold it. Or I'll be telling them about like something that happened with someone else and they'll be like, Whitney, like you deserve better. Like, and I'm like, actually, you're right, I do. And I'll go back and I'll like, uphold a boundary with someone. It can be tricky and it's definitely not easy by any means, but I think that it is more than worth it to like learn to have boundaries with yourself, especially when you're an empathetic person. 'Cause like empathy really will have you it really will have you caring so deeply about some people who like simply, like, truth be told, just don't care about you in the same way. But in your brain, you're like looking and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much for them. But like some people, and this is shocking to me, is just some people just don't have empathy. It's just not something that's in their repertoire. And I'm like, dang, like you really can't put yourself in someone else's shoes. Wild. But it's a reality. And that's what I mean. Human connection is so vast and intricate and intimate. Like, ooh, I appreciate nothing more than when people are like vulnerable and open with me. I love that. I eat that up. The little empath in me, I'm like, I can be vulnerable with you too. And we can like really get deep into the nitty gritty of it all. Applebee's is starting to get busy, so my friend better show up soon. I also don't feel like I have much more to yap. I just like really wanted to talk about that. It's been on my mind. And it's been on my mind because it's like something I've had to be doing more of lately in my life. I've seen a lot of posts on social media where people are like, empaths are really in their villain era. It has something to do, like they're saying that because of like the astrology of the world, the planets are in the world, and I'm not making any sense right now, but if you know, you know. But I feel that. I really do feel like empaths are in their villain era, as they should be. And by villain era, they literally mean, like, we literally mean we're putting boundaries, like we're placing boundaries in our relationships, so people think we're being mean. But as always, it's wonderful, beautiful, amazing to yap with y'all. Thank you for listening. And if you guys have like a certain thing you want me to yap about, drop it in the comments and I will certainly do that. I love you all. Keeping amazing, keeping brave, keeping awesome, keeping kind. You know what to do if you want to see more of me.